Here's a little orphan of the storm. I've had some very bad weather here over yesterday evening and into the night. A nest came down on my friend's in my friend's garden. Now she's got a big garden with a lot of trees. A pigeon's nest came down. It looks like a wood pigeon. The other pigeon unfortunately was killed. There was no idea where the parents were or anything, and the nest was completely destroyed, so he's not got much chance unless we're going to look after him. I've already been able to feed him, which I'm amazed at because he's a wild pigeon. But I've always found with birds, if you can get them to trust you, and I've got a little chicken here who damaged his beak yesterday, and the fact that there was another bird in here already seemed to calm him down. Now, he hasn't been talking at all until now, and that happened because I brought one of my fantails in. This is one of my young fantails. And he's begun to talk to the fantail. He actually began to think the fantail was his mother because he started to flap and look hungry and make those hungry noises at him. So that's really good. And the little fantail's not worried by him at all. So I think he's going to be all right. I'm hoping his leg's okay. He seems to have damaged it slightly. I don't want to touch him too much at the moment because I don't want to frighten him. Although he's very accepting of me. I've been feeding him from my hand. I just made some... if you watch one of my films on how to feed a tiny baby pigeon, I've been using that, just putting the food between my fingers, putting it near his mouth, and he's been eating out of it. As you can see, the fact that he's making a noise is a really good sign because it shows that he's not suffering from stress. I did give him the emergency treatment of sugar and water when he arrived, and he seems to be fine. So let's see how he gets on. Here's little Pidge the next morning. He's had a good night with his friend Cleopatra, and we're just going to try and feed him. Now, I've tried to feed him from an egg cup, but he doesn't like it. He prefers to get my fingers, so it's just a matter of getting the rhythm right with him. And it needs to be the right consistency. Oh, that's too dry. If it is, I'll put a bit more water on it. Try a bit wetter. Just let him break off bits at his own rhythm. Oops. It's a bit messy this way, but he likes the feel of my fingers. I think it feels warm. If I put anything in any sort of holder for the food, it's cold and he doesn't like it. And I did actually have somebody comment, oops, not too fast, have somebody comment on one of my videos on feeding baby pigeons, and they actually work at animal shelters, and this is the way they feed them, so I'm pleased with that. But I know he likes that contact. It just feels like an animal, the warmth of it, and we're not losing too much, and he's not using too much strength in eating it. I mean, we do miss a bit, but he's got a good bit into him. And this is just our homemade organic bread with some of our organic sprouted seeds and a few organic sesames, a little bit of organic tournesol, sunflower. And the sprouted seed is triticale, so it's got a good protein level, which you do need for pigeons. He still seems to have a little bit of a bad leg there. It's not surprising. Apparently I was talking to the person who found him, and they were saying that he'd fallen from a very high tree. And also with the hurricane going on, he'd been bashed about on the floor as well. So he was hiding in a tree root. So he did very well to survive. I don't want to tame this pigeon, it's a wild pigeon. I mean, when it gets a bit bigger, I'll put it in the garden with mine. They're all free range, so there's nothing to hold him in. So it's up to him if he decides to stay or if he decides to go. The only thing is at the moment, we're in hunting season here, and the pigeon hunting season started actually yesterday, so you definitely shan't let him go until the pigeon season is over. I mean, I'm amazed that he's actually taken to eat like this. I thought he'd be very difficult to feed, but actually he... No, it's going to be feeding him. I mean, he's going to be enormous. He's a very young, I think he's a wood pigeon. And from all of us here, thanks for watching.